Hello everyone. So the situation between America and Iran has been escalating every day, every minute and every moment of the time. On Saturday, Iranians have ejected one of American pilot and their plane. So last night American President Donald Trump said that they have recovered their pilot. And the debate is not that they recovered the pilot, the debate is that how Iranians are actually able or they have the tendency to actually strike on the American planes. Most analysts believes that Iranians are getting exact configuration information from Russians and Chinese because it is not possible for Iranians to strike at the exact points and location of American warfares and everyone else reporting and believing. Even New York Times says that these strikes are being manufactured and harbored through the satellite system, and that satellite system and help has been coming from Russians and Chinese. So far the casualties in this war has been 1114 something on Iran side, 17th on the Israeli side, and 11 on American side. Now most people believe that American Secretary of War is actually hiding the actual numbers, actual injuries, actual casualties due to the fear that maybe the public in America would rise, the public sentiment would turn against the so-called Make America Great Again movement from the Trump. Now the Trump is actually declaring victory every day, but the next day he is putting some strategies to somehow agree with Iranians and trying to bring the Iranians on the table through negotiations. This situation is a very delicate somehow if we understand, because there is no doubt that American power in a military might is unmatchable, unbeatable. But what leverage Iran brings on this war is immaculate and it is unnegotiably dangerous because Iran is actually denying the energy to the whole of Europe, South Asia, and largely to the Arab world. So because they have that strategy of 30 miles and where Strait of Hormuz, ships are crossing all over for the LNG, gas, oil, everything. Every time, every minute, every day, it is closed, it spikes and all over the world. Global economy is under a serious crisis. Many people believes that after 2008 it will be the biggest recession that world would ever witness, at least for the 21st century in 26 years of earliest time. Now, what is Iran doing that is so immaculate and so predictable that Iran is somehow actually putting Americans and Israelis on the back? First thing is the Strait of Hormuz. They are not letting world energy supplies go through the route. Number second, Iranians' demands on ending this war are somehow stain on the American power. If American are somehow agreeing on the demands and terms and conditions, that would be the last nail in their coffin. Because Iranians are saying that you have to pay the total cost of war that has been inflicted by Americans. Whatever the losses has been done, America has to pay. Now imagine America somehow agrees that okay, we will pay for your losses. World would witness and word would come harsh on Americans that this is the time where they are declining. The American power is collapsing and declining in just astonishing way. The second thing is Iranian military system is somehow decentralized because what Israelis are doing on the second front, they are killing everyone who is somehow involved in the negotiations. That means the power between America and Iran is not sitting on the table. Why? Because Israel is killing everyone who is somehow trying to engage through the negotiations. That means that direct communication is one of the biggest problem, and unless there is a problem of communication, negotiation, we bring people on the table, doing diplomacy, doing smart work, this is not going to get settled. And Israelis know, and Israelis has been doing this deliberately. That is their tactic, that do not bring American and Iranians before each other, because once they are before each other, they will somehow settle the problem. And once they settle the problem, who will support the Israel then? Because Israel is ultimately the client state of America. But now many people believe that Jewish supremacy is unnegotiable. Jewish supremacy has elite power. Jewish supremacy has war tactics. All fairness. That's true. But that whole tactical warfare regime is totally relied or aligned on American Pentagon. Because whatever they are capable of is actually harbored by the Americans. So once the Americans pulls their hand out of their shoulders, who will come to support them? Nobody. That's a fact. Even if some people who are very sympathetic with the Israelis, they believe that Israel is capable enough to go in the warfare, and if they are going in war with Iran, it's a guerrilla warfare, because the strategic dimension and demographic situation in Iran is not something that Israel can achieve. Israel may have a superiority over skies. They have a air power, which is undeniably true, but they cannot bring people on the ground and to turn the regime upside down. Nobody can. Even Americans are reluctant. Only in this week, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, has actually defenestrated his army chief. Why? And now this is a very delicate situation. Everyone needs to understand this, that because maybe he was against one thing, and that is a regime change through boots on the ground. Maybe he has a larger concept of what would be the consequences, what would be the bloodbath, what would be the horrendous impact and consequences of doing that activity on the grounds of Iran. Maybe Iran has already trapped Americans, that once they put their foots on the ground, nobody knows what's going to happen. So this situation is tricky, but as of now, nobody is winning. Everyone is losing, especially the common people, the common man who is going to job daily, who is going for some wages. Because from South Asia to Middle East to Southeast Asia to Japan, Germany to Europe to America, everyone is suffering at the cost of energy rubble, because energy is unnegotiable. It is the basic need for every human, every house, every household, every office. World runs on the energy, and as long as Iran has that key in their pocket for blackmailing the world that they will not supply the energy, nothing is going to happen. See, recently Tucker Carlson says that power has its limits, and so is America has the limits. Now, if they think that they are so they're so superior and they have a military might, why don't they come and just do this? In fact, take over on the Strait of Hormuz. They can't. They know it, that there would be a bloodbath, and by not doing it, they are allowing Iranians to dictate the terms, and Iranians are doing that. Dictation. They are doing dictation so eloquently, so clearly, so transparently, that Americans have no answer. But why everyone is discussing Americans as of now, when the war is actually from the Israel? Israel is smartly pull out of this, because that is one thing that you would always be admired of Israelis, that they bring the chaos and they pull out, and then they leave you. They orchestrate the chaos, and they at the end they will leave you to do whatever you want to do. We are not going to get involved in this. They are just hitting targets. On yesterday, they have hit the chemical complex in Iran. They are doing it. They are doing it so regularly, but nobody is talking about them. Everyone is talking about America, Iran, America, Iran, America, Iran. However, the main factor in this war is Israel, but nobody is talking about them. So that's a smart strategy from them, and they have somehow smartly push back their side but is still achieving their goals. So let's see what happens. But this situation is very delicate and this situation is so horrific, and every time, every day, people are struggling and nobody seems to care about this because Trump is saying that we will escalate, we will make the Iranian as an stone age. And mind of a mind of President Trump, you can't take him for granted. You have to take him serious when he's saying Stone Age. You better understand what does that mean, and if that's so, God forbid. We'll keep an eye on this, and let's talk about in next videos. Thank you.